What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to use a setting known as building to prop. If you are a pro at Creator, don't even bother watching this video. I'm not telling you anything completely remarkable. I'm just sharing this piece of information because for when I started using Creative, it was hard for me to find. I figured there's got to be somebody out there like me that wants to learn how to use this, and so here I am showing you how. So you probably already know if you go into any gallery and you pick up a piece of wall, it's going to build just like all your builds do in Fortnite. It's going to try to build in a square, which is great if you're trying to build a square room, but if you're trying to make something curved, like a wall, for example, I wanted to build the wall in Attack on Titan. You can't build it in a curve. You can't build it big. You can't get everything lined up. It's just, you're really limited. You got to build basically just the box. So you're going to use a setting known as building to prop to change all that. You're going to go quick menu, show to movement, under object placement, down to building as prop. 3 settings: off, origin edge, and origin center. Origin edge and origin center are only different based on where you're holding onto the piece. Edge is useful if you're trying to line up edges on walls, and then center is useful because it puts your build right in the center. So I'm going to use center for now. You'll notice now it moves freely. I also have the option, because it's now a prop, to change the size. It doesn't have to be connected to the ground because it's now a prop, and props don't need to be connected to the ground, so you can make floating pieces of wall. You'll notice I've got the setting, if I hold on to the right mouse button, I can now resize this piece of wall. I can make it big or little. I can change the grid snap so that it's a little easier to control. Grid snap just means it's going to line up with the boxes, but it's not going to be building in a perfect square like before. It gives you a little more control if you're trying to line up edges, but sometimes, just warning, it doesn't always line up perfectly depending on how things are placed, so just keep an eye on that. Yeah, so it gives you a lot more options with the wall pieces. Just, it really lets you do a lot of different stuff with it. Yeah, so there's a lot of different things that count as a building, turns out. It's what I found out the hard way. So back when I was trying to learn how to build stuff, I found out, like I said, the hard way, that this is a building. It is not a prop. So with building to prop, now I can do whatever I want with it. Not a great example, but you can put it in the wall as a design. Now you can do kind of whatever you want because it's free moving. Depending on what you wanted to do with this, you could turn this upside down and turn it into posts in the ground. Ignore me just messing around with it here, showing that you can just kind of move things around. I placed this stuff all here just to show that you can build it completely off the general square shape. This house, on the other hand, was built on a square shape. The reason I built the house on a square shape is because if you're trying to build a square room personally, for me at least at this point, it's a lot easier to build some stuff on grid. An example, these stairs. If you try to build these stairs off of having the stairs as a prop, you might not line it up. You'll end up with gaps. It's a lot easier to just turn that building as prop off, and then the stairs are going to line up perfectly in the square. It's going to make it look nice and neat. Again, if you're really good at this, you're going to be able to make something amazing, and you're going to have it look really good with just building to props. But if you're not that good at lining it up yet, keep that building to prop off for the most part when you're building square rooms and trying to get everything to line up right. Otherwise, you'll be really frustrated when your walls are at funny angles. Again, just demonstrating, you change the size by holding onto the button. Your menu should have different options depending on what device you're playing at, so I can't really tell you what button you're going to have to press, but just take a look at that menu that pops up on the left side of the screen. Now, a really good example of what you can do with this setting, building to prop. Notice this window doesn't have glass in it. Really frustrating to me personally. So I like to take this piece of window frame here. I changed the grow size. I resized specifically the depth. And that's going to make this window frame a little bit thicker. Now, I would do that to all of these, but I'm not going to bother right now. Go back into the galleries, go to the customizable setting, and you're going to go in and pick out a piece of glass. Now, I do this with a grid snap on at first. Notice I line up the glass into the frame. Now, this is with the building to prop on, and I place it in. Cool, right? Except for the fact that now the window frame, it doesn't look right. You can see that the glass is not actually falling into the window frame. That's because one more thing you should do is pull it out and resize the glass's depth to be really thin. It lines up perfectly inside of the window frame. You can actually get it to look like there's glass. Now, you'll notice, again, it still doesn't look quite right. I have that grid snap on. That was what I was talking about. Sometimes the grid snap just doesn't make things line up quite how you want. I have to turn the grid snap completely off and do it freehand. It sometimes can be a little challenging to get things to line up right, but I think you'll be really happy with the results if you can get it to line up. It just makes a much neater, nicer looking item if you can really get things to line up well. Other than that, you know, there's a lot of other stuff that you can do, but some of it's a little bit harder depending on your difficulty. Remember that the glass does count as a building. So if you turn that building to prop back off and you try to build glass, it is going to line up like a wall. At least this one will, because this was a wall-shaped piece of glass. Just as a warning, if you go in, make sure, if you want to do that, build it as a prop. If you have any other questions or you want to know how to do something, just message me. Otherwise, happy building. Also, before I'm done here, just a huge shout out to Brian Summers. He showed me how to use building to prop back when I couldn't figure it out. Go check him out at Brian Summers Productions and just give him a like and a subscribe because he is amazing at Fortnite Creative and deserves credit for it.